our dreams are sent to help us, just like you say, they're sent to help us, to teach us, to lead us, to heal us.
Welcome, Beverly Keaton. I am so delighted to have you with us.
Thank you, Karen. I'm so happy to be here.
Beverly Keaton is a creativity coach and leads workshops and creativity events. And she has just completed her first book, Heart Filled Living, Creating What's Next. The cover of the book is stupendous. I love it so much. And I have read through your book, dipping in and out, because it's that kind of book.
Yes.
Don't have to read it all the way from page one to page last.
Right.
And it is chock full of wonderful suggestions and writing prompts and things to think about. Beverly, talk about completing this book, what it's meant, how it came to be.
Okay. First of all, thank you again, Karen, just for taking the time to do this. And I'm excited to be here. And the book, let's see, I feel like, sometimes I think, okay, it was a 2-year journey. And then other times I think, no, it was 30, 40 years in the making because I had a dream to write a book ever since the late 80s and made several attempts and didn't cross the finish line. And so this book, it felt like I just had to do it. It was like living into what the book says. I felt I had a calling to write a book. And even though this is not the book I first envisioned writing, it is the one that managed to make it through. And it is the 2 years that I actually spent working on it. There was a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs. There were times when I thought there's no way I can finish it. And fortunately, I had good support. So I had people to turn to when I was so full of self-doubt. And I actually wrote the first 5 chapters and it just wasn't working for me. And I got really discouraged. And I had an outline I was trying to follow, and I just couldn't do it that way. And so I was just before quitting, and then I had great coaching that put me back into doing it my way instead of trying to follow a formula. And so once I got into that mode, it felt so freeing and it felt like the book had breathing room, like it could become what it wanted to become. And so even with that short time out where I really thought I'm just not going to make it, that actually served as the turning point to the book getting into the direction and into what feels like it's right for me to actually come forth.
Boy, that's a lesson that can be applied to so many situations and projects. And you even address that in several chapters in here about how to work with self-doubt and
Yes.
what that might be leading you to, how to overcome that, or even use it, maybe use the self-doubt in a way. What was comforting to me was everybody has self-doubt when embarking on a big project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I included it in the book, as I was experiencing it, because I've worked with creatives and myself enough to know there's always going to be a dip and there's always going to be a point where you hit the bottom and you feel like you just can't push through it anymore. And really, the invitation is to get curious and see what kind of information might be below that. And also, it's a big sign to ask for help. And what I really learned so well with this writing journey is that these kinds of projects require a little village, either a little village or at least one person that you can turn to and get guidance from and encouragement and use maybe even to check in with the curiosity about what's going on here. I just am stuck. And so it really I've always heard that if you want to experience your own biggest personal growth, go ahead and create something and big and offer it to the world. And it really does because there's things about being seen and judged and misunderstood. There's so many different things that start bubbling up and what I call the not now voices. And those not now voices are the voices, just like the inner critic, the censor, the self-doubt, whatever word you want to put to that, that tend to shut us down and keep us in our comfort zone. And so, it's great being in your comfort zone. It's nice and cushy and comfortable, right? But we cannot expand. We cannot grow if we are committed to being in the comfort zone. So the only way to step out is to be willing to experience that discomfort of whatever is being called forth from you that is new. And ultimately, it will be empowering, but you have to get through the mushy parts.
There's a moment, and maybe you can describe your moment. And I don't know, it's a combination of a letting go and a, if you will, what the hell moment, of it's just a click over moment of deciding to embark on the big project or the new thing or the new practice. And it's, oh, all the things holding me back. And then there's this moment that's of let go of that and what the hell? My do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm describing that well.
I do. And here's what I like to point people toward when they're in that moment. Take a break and go find something you can do. Whatever it is, if it's in creativity, if it's going for a walk, if it's just something to invite the words I can back into your mindset.
Hmm.
Because the further we get into the resistance and that not now voice, the more we get into, I just can't do it. I can't. And so, like, for example, and I think this is even in the book, when I was in that place of really wanting to quit and almost there, I put it away and got stones out and started painting stones. And I just sat on the floor with my paints and I just painted. And it was so simple, but it put me back into a pause of breathing. And also, like, I can do this. I can do it. I can do it. And once you can flip back into I can do it, you can gain your momentum back.
That is brilliant. I love that. I feel stuck in this area and I feel like I can't do it, but I can do this. I can empty the dishwasher. I can plant some herbs. I can go for a walk. I mean, I think that's brilliant. Just
Yeah.
brilliant to switch back into, well, I can do this.
Right, right. And
Oh,
I
that's good.
love that you're using those just everyday examples because I think the invitation really is to do it a little more mindfully and
Hmm.
show yourself and remind yourself there's so much I can do.
Hmm.
And it's just that energy of I can,
Ah,
so
ah, oh,
empowering.
that's brilliant. You mentioned a few moments ago, it takes a village or it takes a community to
Yes.
help birth one of these projects. And I think a lot of people, and including myself, somehow want to gut it out and go it alone.
Mhm.
And then it bogs down and we're inside of our own echo chamber, so to speak.
Yeah.
So say a little bit more about your village. You
Mhm.
mentioned a coach. Who is
Mhm.
in your village?
Mhm. Well, my coach is Rick Tamlin, and I've been working in a group coach setting with him for 3 years. And then I also, sometimes your village members, they don't have to actually be hands-on present in the moment. I have also, this book is dedicated to Frances Coker, and she was my first mentor and college professor and writing teacher and so much more at Millsaps College. And so, even though she wasn't physically in my village, she is the first person that looked at me and told me I could write a book. So those seeds that get planted from people that support us and believe in us at any point can still be called back into your village, even if it's not, even if they're not here in the physical form. And you're in my village.
I know. I'm so glad.
So, yes, you are in my village, and working with you and the dreams that I have brought to you. I mean, here is my almost completely full dream journal, has been huge because, through the dreams, we get our customized messages and sources of healing and growth that maybe no one else would understand except for the dreamer. And a lot of times, well, for me especially, I needed your help and guidance to help me pull out the true gold. I feel like I could scrape off the surface level gold, and then I would bring it into your office, and it was just like, oh, there's so much more here than I ever would have known or guessed. So,
You included in chapter two
mhm.
whole, I mean, this is very early in the book. I mean, this
Yes.
is very early in the book. Um, uh, and chapter two is entitled Listening to the Heart, Dreams as Messengers. And as I read this, I'm agreeing with every single word and every single approach. And these chapters are short, but they're very packed with great information. And I just and you give examples, like you gave an example of your own dream here and what it meant to you, and how you distilled the meaning of it, and the multiple meanings of it, because dreams have multiple meanings, we know that.
Mhm.
um so talk a little bit more about um your decision to include this in your book, and and just say more about dreaming. I mean, this YouTube channel is about dreaming. So,
Yeah.
yeah, talk about dreaming a little bit.
I felt like this dream, I think it came to me while I was in the dip, the not sure if I was going to make it through. And
Yes.
that's why it really just made such an impact on me that I wanted to put it in the book. And going through, I wanted to demonstrate by the example how you can use a dream and how a dream can send you messages or just rememberings that might not make sense to anyone else. It might be a symbol that means one thing to you, and then it might mean something else to somebody else. And so, but what I love most about this dream, and I don't know if I've told you this, but I was at Fort Walton Beach, and that is where I completed the manuscript and sent the manuscript to my publisher. And it was the last morning. Let me back up for a minute. This stream has a boat in it. It has a white boat that is in the dock, tied to the harbor. So this right that morning, I sent the manuscript through, electronically, and I was packing and getting ready to leave, and I heard this voice say, "Look out the window." And it was this beautiful white sailboat in the middle of the blue and green water, just sailing by, being guided by the wind. And it felt so significant. Here I had finally gotten my boat untied and out of the harbor. And that's one thing I love about dreams so much. It feels like when you work with them as deeply as I've worked with my dreams with you, you actually begin to get these signs of confirmation and validation that this is really big stuff. And how can you deny the power
Yeah.
and impact when you've put a dream like that in your book, and then the day you send it, 15 minutes later, you see a boat sailing across the ocean.
That's a synchronicity that we can all dial into if we'll pay attention.
Yes, yes. And honestly, I just don't think I would have been that deep into the dream journey had I not been working with you. I mean, because we had already been working together months and months. So it was just so affirming. And the way that you've taught me, write down the dreams, get the details, no matter what you remember. If you don't remember all of it, just capture what you remember. All of that you have supported me in doing. And with that, it's just I do it more and more automatically. And I'm more open to the synchronicity and the signs and I believe like there's no doubt in my mind that our dreams are sent to help us, just like you say, they're sent to help us, to teach us, to lead us, to heal us. And it's so much gold, and you miss it if you don't take time to dig for it and get curious and see what it is trying to offer you.
One of the things that I so appreciate throughout your book, including the chapter on dreams, is the paying attention to that voice. You said the voice said to turn around, and your voice comes through in many examples of
Yeah.
following your voice. And also, you make reference to what does your heart want? And this is part and parcel of also of dream work, because to cultivate listening to an inner voice is alongside listening to the dreams. So say more about cultivating listening to the inner voice, because our culture today wants anything but, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's a
cul-
lot of distractions and a lot of things to take us away from that. In
right.
the book, I call it the heart-filled living voice. And there are so many different words for this. I think just the word everyone knows is intuition.
Mhm.
I like calling it the heart-filled living voice because I feel like that brings it more into like a bigger space of how you want to live your life. It's like, yes, intuition is the inner guidance. And then when you step into it from a heart-filled living place, it's more like, how do I want to incorporate this into my life to where I live a more loving and aligned life with whatever my soul is calling me toward?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, and that's what the heart-filled living voice I feel like is what caused me to turn and look out the window and see that sailboat. But it's also what called me to work with you. It's like I kept getting that nudge, go work with Karen and do this dream work. And I resisted it for a while because a lot of times when our heart-filled living voice is calling us into something significant that's really going to propel our growth, that resistance will kick in, and then that not now voice gets activated, and it's for me it's literally I'm mine shows up as procrastination a lot of times, and that's why I chose that phrase not now, because then you get into the like push pull of yeah I'll do it but no not right now, or I'll do, and so then you're kind of in a stuck place of overthinking it.
Hmm.
And then the energy, that could be fueling you to move forward is actually causing stagnation because you're just stuck.
So how, so kind of using our work together as an example, how did you come around to contacting me for the first time and setting up a time to for us to work?
Mhm.
How did you punch through and make that happen?
Yeah. I think sometimes it does require a bit of like a buildup because it reaches a point where it becomes more uncomfortable not to take the action
Mm-hmm.
than it is to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to minimize it down to small steps and like, okay, just make the appointment and see if you like it. It wasn't like I went in thinking, oh, I'm going a year and a half later, I'll still be seeing Karen every other week. It was like, I'm just going to go try it. And so I think when we tackle things through small steps or tiny chunks,
Mm-hmm.
where it's not overwhelming and you're only, if you would just take the next step, and this is where I get tripped up, is I look into the future and think, oh, this is how it's going to unfold, and I don't know if I like that or if I want to do that or whatever. But once you really just take the next step and then trust that the next step will become clear to you, and then you take that next step and then just let go of an attachment to thinking you need to know how it's going to look
Mm-hmm.
or unfold long term.
I really like that. I've kind of come around to that, and you have reinforced it also in my book. I've kind of come around to that, but good Lord, it took me a long enough time to say I'm going to take the first step, see what I feel, see what I think, and then I can choose to continue or not.
Yes. Yes.
Just because I take the first step does not mean a lifelong commitment to anything. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Um, so that is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. A couple more things about your book, and then I want to ask some other questions. Okay. The structure of your book is so helpful to me because um, there are things to reflect on. Uh, you give examples from your own experience of what you're writing about. You give some examples, and then you have heart-filled living reflections. And the one I have selected is the chapter called Showing Up Where Miracles Begin. And the first heart-filled living reflection is when have I said yes to something unfamiliar, and how did it lead to unexpected growth? Um, and one of the reflections is, what is the payoff for showing up despite feeling uncertainty? And the last one was one that really spoke to me, was the last one you listed. When have I experienced open doors that felt like miracles?
Mm.
I've had that happen. I've had that happen.
Mhm.
And it was a part and parcel of how I became a counselor working with dreams.
Oh, wow.
When has that happened for you? Or if you feel like telling a story or two, when has it happened that you have experienced open doors that felt like a miracle?
Oh gosh, it almost feels like that every day. Miracles don't have to be great big and, out of this world. It can be the most smallest thing. And so I like to remind people that miracles can just sometimes be stepping outside and seeing this most beautiful, perfect flower that reminds you of the beauty in nature and the gifts that come to us unexpectedly. And then there are the big miracles. There are the big miracles that you never ever would have dreamed of. And the one that I used in the book is where, just to try to bottom line it, I was I was going to a retreat center in Mexico called El Puerto Rancho, and I probably didn't say that right. But I was going as a guest with a fellow colleague and friend. And long story short, we had transportation issues and she could not get to the destination. And so I thought I was just going to have to turn around and go home because I made it to almost all the way to the destination. And then she calls me and asks me if I would like to step in and lead the classes that she was originally lined up to lead for a whole week. And it was an incredible opportunity. It's one of the number one, I think it is the number one spot in the world. And here I was being invited to step in and lead out of nowhere. I mean, it was truly amazing. And then, I had to step into, I can't do this, but I can't say no because how many times are you likely to get that kind of opportunity, especially if you say no? And so I did step in and I led those classes, and it was an amazing experience. And that at the end of that, I just really I felt like it propelled so much growth because I had stepped into something so big that I never imagined I would even have an opportunity to do. And it really left me with the mindset of what else is possible.
Oh, brilliant.
If I do
So,
my part and show up and trust and
mhm.
just do my best, what other doors might open?
Oh gosh, it's just music to my ears. So I'll tell you real quick mine.
Okay.
I wanted to leave our family business and go to graduate school to learn how to do this.
Mm.
And one step was to get a master's degree in counseling. And the program that I chose uh, was at a college here in our area, and I didn't it, that was church affiliated with a particular denomination, and I didn't know how their counseling program was going to feel about dreams and dream work. I just had no idea. And I went to interview with the head of the department just to kind of feel it out and see how that would go. And I explained to the head of the department of the psychology department there what I wanted to do. And he stood up and he said, "Follow me." And I followed him through this maze of offices in the building where the counseling department was. And he led me to this teeny tiny windowless office. And he opened the door, and there is this older man in there who was a professor. And the head of the department said, "Dr. Felder, I want you to meet this person, and she's very interested in dreams and dream work." And then he turned to me and he said, "Dr. Felder just spent his sabbatical in Zurich at the Jungian Institute studying dreams."
Wow.
And there's the miracle moment. There's
Yeah.
like the miracle moment right there. I said, "Okay, all right, sign me up. Who do I make the check out to? I'm in." And
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. That's where I went to graduate school. It was very well accepted. It was great. That little open door that felt like a miracle. It
Yeah.
it it just did, and it kind of was. I mean, really, kind of was. So what was interesting about that whole business is that dreams, my own dreams, led me to that big change in
Mm.
my. I mean, huge change from going from a family retail business to what dreams. But the dreams actually led me there. Say a little something more about, is there an instance where a dream led you somewhere?
Oh, I know there's probably many, many I could choose from. I think also instead of it being a physical place, I'm going to use I had a dream recently that I feel like led me back to my heart-filled living voice because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the shoulds or I should do it this way, or it should look a certain way, or everyone else does it this way. And I had a dream about a stubborn horse who would not allow herself to be pulled behind a trailer going in a direction that didn't feel right for her. And so she was turned sideways. And instead of turning and agreeing to go with this energy that wasn't a good match for her, she was being drugged alone. It was like damaging um, her physical well-being. And so to kind of think about, oh, wait, it feels like that's similar to what I'm doing. I'm trying to do things to promote my book in a way that feel like they're not in alignment with my style and my heart-filled living voice and my inner guidance. And so you helped me see that. I did not see that on my own. It was brilliant the way you pulled that out because it was right on. And so then with that awareness, I could slow down, shift gears, and I could follow the path that this horse was pointing toward, which was really in alignment with me and my style. And so, it's like for me, I'm sure there are several examples of where my dream has led me to physical locations and things that were open doors. But that one has stuck so much because it created a shift in my mindset and a remembrance that my way is the right way for me.
Brilliant. Ah,
And I love the way too, you encourage to honor the dreams. And that's one thing that really keeps their message and their meaning alive is because, I have a t-shirt now with a horse on it, even though I'm not really a horse person. But the representation of that is so much a part of who I am and what I want to encourage other people to cultivate a relationship with, your own inner guidance and your way, because your way is the right way for you.
oh gosh, this is so good. So one of the chapters that you have is called Breaking Through Barriers, Stop Waiting.
Mm,
And one of the very first heartfelt living reflection is, what would change in my life if I fully embraced my unique gifts and shared them without hesitation? That is a profound question
mm,
that I think we're not asking ourselves enough. That is such a profound question. And I really, oh, and some of your the writing prompts are brilliant. The last time I felt truly alive was when, and then you do your writing meditation on that.
mhm.
That one all by itself could fling open doors right there, all by itself. If I allowed myself to fully embrace my creativity, I would. Uh, the moment when I felt most connected to my true purpose was, these are profound
Yeah.
and they can really point to, you know, what our calling is, what we're called to do. This is
Yes.
great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Uh, a harder one is the belief that has been holding me back is sometimes that's hard to identify. The
Mhm,
belief holding me back.
mhm.
Sometimes it's more subtle than, oh, I can't do that. But there's something in there about that. But these are just terrific. And what they call for, and what I'm all about, is keeping a journal.
Oh, yes.
I keep a dream journal and a separate, different journal. I keep two, and I just do. Tell me a little bit about your journaling practices.
Mhm. I have been keeping a journal almost my entire life. My grandmother gave me a 5-year journal, it had the 3 lines for a day uh,
Uh-huh.
when I was about 10. And she said, write about your day. And I just took to it. And I think for me, journaling is so appealing even now because I do know the value of it. And also, it's a good practice in being seen and being heard. And it teaches you that you can allow that for yourself. And then you've got something, a foundation to branch out into. Because, earlier, I can't remember the exact way which prompt it was, but that thing that holds us back a lot of times is anyway, this is what I've witnessed in coaching women. There is a strong need and desire to be seen and to be heard, but it got shut down in childhood or at some point along the way. It just wasn't safe. And it really is a healing journey to reach that point where you're willing to take the risk again and to step into it. And I think for myself, journal writing was like, I couldn't have ever have made it without journal writing because it allowed me to create and to express myself and to feel safe while doing it. And so I could just continue to build that muscle of expressing myself. And the more you practice it, the more you are connected to journal writing, it's like it does become deeper and more creative and more free flowing. And so I think as a reader of your own journal, you can see your own progress.
No doubt about it. It's so, sometimes I even go back and read my journals from uh, years ago, and I have to laugh. Some of it is I get so tickled with myself. Say a little bit about keeping a dream journal, since you were already a journal keeper. To start a dream journal, is yours separate, or do you put them both together?
Yeah, I keep my dreams separate. So I know if I grab this one, it's going to have all of my dreams in it. Now, sometimes I do add write-ins and fill-ins with loose sheets of paper. And for me, I like to keep them separate because, well, it helps keep it organized. Because a lot of times I'll take a piece of journal writing and turn it into an essay for my blog or for the newsletter or something. So, but this is more sacred. This is like, okay, this is something I want to make sure it's all in the same place. If I want to go back and review something, I can. Or, like I don't know. I'm just, for some reason, super attached to my dream journal. And I think because it does come from such a deep place, and it's not just me writing randomly, it feels like I'm more connected to something greater than myself.
Music to my ears. Music to my ears. Yes, that's exactly how I feel as well. The word sacred is the right word. I feel that way about my dream journal also. I get, you know, once in a while I'll think I need to make a note to myself, and I think I'll just pull up a blank page out of my dream. No, no, you got to get up and go get another piece of paper. No, the dream journal is the actual dream journal itself is absolutely sacred. Yes, and I'm real picky about it. I'm real picky about what kind of what kind of notebook I buy about that. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it as well. Oh, this is great stuff.
I
Okay, what
think,
have I not asked you about, or what have we not touched in on that we need to?
um, hmm, let's see. I don't know. Let me think. I don't know
Oh,
if it's okay.
I know. Are you working on a new book?
Oh gosh, you know what the problem is? I have about four. It's like, do I want to work on this one or this one or this one? So, I am really like, I decided to slow myself down a little bit and give myself time to get really clear on which one is next. because I do have several ideas, and it feels like I just want to do them all at once, but that's not the way it works. And I know that. I also know that to write a book, it means I'm going to be in for the long haul, and for everything that might bubble up that I've got to look at while I'm writing it. And so I'm just a little bit like, okay, am I really ready to go back into that zone that requires so much depth and looking and just the creative process altogether? And I love it. I love it. And it can be very consuming.
Mm.
So yes, and it's not quite in the physical form yet.
You are going to be at the Mississippi Book Festival, are you?
I am. Yes, I will be in the Author's Alley, and that is, I think, September 26th. I'm pretty sure that's the date of it. Yes, I will be there. I'm also scheduled to be at the Possum Town Festival, which I think it's in Columbus, Mississippi. I
Uh-huh.
should have written this down. So, and I also, well, yeah, this won't be out by Saturday. I will be at Lemuria on Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes,
So your books are going to be at Lemuria.
I hope so. I hope they'll keep some. Yeah.
So for the folks that don't live in our area, Lemuria Bookstore is one of the premier independent bookstores in our country. It is that and Square Books, and you've been to Square Books as well.
I
Square
have.
Books,
I have.
yeah, Square Books in Oxford, Mississippi. These are two um, uh, nationally known independent bookstores, and it is a big deal to have signings at both of those places and to be in the Mississippi Book Festival. So, congratulations on all of that. What it took to write a book is it's just phenomenal. And I'm so thrilled to be one of your people.
Oh,
And so thrilled that you talk about dreams so early in the book and how that has helped you. That your chapter on dreams is just right.
oh,
Just right. So I endorse your book and the chapter on dreams absolutely unconditionally.
thank you.
Beverly, thank you so much for talking with me today about this. Your book is feeding me. I've got dog-eared and everything. Your book is feeding me, and I appreciate it so very much.
Thank you,
So
Karen. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.